They say the light in Nairobi is best at dawn, but I prefer the hush just after midnight, when the city looks like a set washed clean for a new shot. I'm standing on my old rooftop, the familiar hum of the city pulsing in my bones. But that's not where this story begins. It begins with laughter, sharp, unkind laughter, echoing in rooms I once called home, then spilling out onto the glowing screens of strangers. The video started on a Tuesday. My cousin Tom filmed me in the back room at my uncle's house. I had built a camera rig out of old parts and Boda mirrors, and there I was, narrating with excitement about my short film idea, zero budget, indie spirit, Nairobi alleyways as my backbone. Somebody shared the clip online. Wildebeest wants to make movies in the bush. Hollywood, here he comes. There I was, arms drawn wide like a fool, eyes shining in that way the young have before shame turns them sideways. They captioned it, "Your cousin ever embarrass the family like this?" At first, the comments were family names. Aunt Susan, who sold insurance and always wore pearls on Sundays, wrote, "Laughing, but it's true, the boy doesn't see sense." Ex-classmates I barely recalled joined the chorus. Go watch your stories. Even soapies on Citizen TV have bigger budgets. The laughter followed me down streets, into buses and the tattoos, tailing me into the silent spaces of my owing room. The online ridicule unraveled into real life. Uncles stopped inviting me to Sunday gatherings. Neighbors whistled cinema tunes when I bought bread. But there is a silence you reach, on the far side of humiliation, where you hardly hear the noise. The night after the 6th viral meme of my face appeared, my mother found me sitting cross-legged on our balcony, head in hands. The city below glittered, indifferent. She stood next to me, holding her breath as though she feared I might let something go. She said quietly, "You're not less for dreaming. Just show them, that's all." Her hand lingered on my shoulder a long while. I stopped replying to messages. I stopped arguing with Tom, who said he only meant it as a joke. I filled a battered notebook with scribbles, half scenes, fragments of dialogue, settings drawn from memory, the concrete dust of Gikomba, the determined spit of hawkers. The rainfall that made rivers on impassable roads. Every evening for months, I slipped out and shot with what I had. Children shadowing their mothers at the vegetable stalls, Boda drivers coaxing rusty engines, faded murals painted over too many times. I roped in anyone who'd say yes. My friend Wanjiku held the boom pole, a curtain rail duct taped to a mop handle. My little cousin Nancy played 3 roles, swapping wigs and headscarves behind screen doors. We edited on borrowed laptops in cybercafes, clutching hot cups of milk tea when the power flickered out. When I uploaded the first 8-minute cut to YouTube, my hands shook. It was a film about a city struggling to wake up, about a family afraid to reach for more. I didn't expect much, but someone in Accra watched it, then someone in Lagos. A blogger in Berlin dissected the graininess, called it raw, unfiltered storytelling. The mistake the meme makers had made was sharing it too widely. Nairobi's laughter made its way around the world and found ears ready for something different. A year later, an email arrived. It was a programmer from a film festival in Johannesburg. "Your short is shortlisted. Can you be there for a Q&A?" Finance was a problem, but a friend of my mother's bought me 1 ticket, saying, "Don't embarrass us now. Go and try." The trip was a haze. My first flight, suitcase wedged under my feet, thinking only of how many words I'd left unsaid back home. On stage under the lights, the questions came, the crowd warm and curious. The MC asked if my family supported me. I found myself telling them the truth. Not at first, but every city has doubters, and every city has dreamers. Later, the short won a small award. Enough money for a bus ticket back to Nairobi and to buy slightly better equipment. I spent the next 2 years making, failing, making again. I worked at a printing shop to cover rent. I shot wedding videos, birthday montages, funeral processions, anything that would teach me something, pay a bill, or help me buy old film reels from a junk market. Slowly, my channel morphed into a modest community. Filmmakers sent messages from as far as New Delhi and Cairo. A producer from Mombasa requested a script consult. All this time, the relatives barely mentioned my work, except to warn their children not to waste time chasing cameras. I never forgot the day my younger brother Peter sent me a voice note. "Mother keeps your festival badge above the TV now. She makes tea for anyone who comes to see it. I think she believes in you." I listened again and again until it was just static and breathing. Then came the email that changed everything. An international streaming platform had found my second feature, this one shot over 2 sticky, relentless Nairobi summers. "We believe there is an audience for the daylight thieves. Please contact us for licensing." The money wasn't huge, but it felt like possibility clearing her throat at the door. Contracts were signed, cameras, gear, even a space for editing at a new shared studio downtown. All followed in quick, surreal succession. I bought a pair of shoes that actually fit and a new phone for my mother. At night, I still went to rooftops and watched the blue halo of Nairobi's streetlights, torn between joy and the kind of fear that comes with happiness, fear it might dissolve too quickly. The day the film premiered on the streaming service, I woke up before sunrise. I walked the old streets lined with sizzling oil and morning bread. I ended up outside the estate gates, half expecting the watchman to laugh. Instead, he nodded, held the gate open, and said, "I watched your film." My daughter cried near the end. He smiled, and something inside me slid back into place. By noon, the film's thumbnail was everywhere, on phones balanced atop vegetable stands, on TV screens in cramped shops, in WhatsApp groups that once traded only forwarded jokes. I sat with my mother on a pewing couch while Peter fixed chai. She held my hand, her fingers rough with years of washing and raising children. "Tonight the family's meeting," she told me. "Some cousins want to see what became of your games." She said games with an old sting, but it felt lighter now. The family compound was packed that evening. Aunt Susan wore her pearls. Tom lingered near the kitchen like a man expecting an ambush. There were plastic chairs set up around the TV. Bowls of popcorn balanced atop laps. The hush before a storm. Not everyone greeted me. Uncle David simply nodded, arms folded. From the kitchen, I heard Wanjiku whisper, "He's serious now. He looks different." Maybe I did. It was hard to measure myself by the faces that judged me in childhood. My mother called for quiet. Peter queued up the film, his thumb trembling. "This," he began, faltering. "This is my brother's story." He looked at me, nodded, and pressed play. For 90 minutes, there was only the film. Nairobi splayed across the screen, not as a punchline, but as a stage. Children racing each other through flooded streets, grandmothers bargaining under blinding sunlight, friends climbing unfinished rooftops to taste the air. My cousins laughed at bits that hurt. Aunts dapped eyes when loss danced at the edges. The final scene played, a mother and son sitting together in silence, city lights flickering, hope just out of sight. Nobody spoke at first. Then someone, my uncle, said, quietly, "Was that really Nairobi? I've never seen it like this." Aunt Susan dabbed her eyes, murmured something about caught the spirit. Tom stared at the screen, the room's reflection caught in his unfocused gaze. Wordlessly, Keeter brought the emails, the certificates, the festival badge. He passed them around like sacred objects. Bowls of popcorn shifted from hands to laps, forgotten. It was Nancy, older now and finally taller than me, who spoke first. Her voice was sure, cutting through the hesitant awe. He made it. He said he would, and he did. They looked at me then, not with mockery or disbelief, but as if seeing a ghost finally step into the room. The laughter of old memes died beneath the hush. Outside, the city pulsed, 1,000 motorcycles, the scent of fried dough in the air. Family filtered out, one by one, each offering some word or gesture. Aunt Susan pressed 2 fingers to my wrist. "Well done," she whispered. Regret dancing in her apology. Tom lingered last. In the doorway, he shifted uneasily. "It was a joke then, I didn't know." His words trailed off. For the first time, I saw the shame behind his eyes. Silence hung between us, richer than any apology. "It's all right," I told him. He looked at his shoes, then at me. "I want to help if you make another one." Outside on the step, I listened, rain pattering on the fat bougainvillea leaves, the city's thrum. Inside, my mother made more chai, a smile making her cheeks round again. Later that night, I walked to my old rooftop. From there, the city spread in every direction. Streets I'd walked with nothing but doubts in my pockets, now threaded together by light. My hands, once mocked for their trembling, held a camera bought with my own earnings, fingerprints still smeared across old lenses. Across the city, screens flickered with my film, loved or hated, but real. Below, the same voices that once ridiculed now hesitated. Some apologized, others said nothing at all, but their silence was sweeter than any praise. I felt nothing but resolve to keep telling stories